What is going on, online fitness coaches? Welcome to another episode of the Change Lives and Make Money Online Trainer podcast. This is the #1 show for online fitness coaches who are trying to grow a successful online business. In today's episode, I'm actually going to start that again. 3, 2, and 1. What is going on, online fitness coaches? Welcome to another episode of the Change Lives, Make Money Online Trainer podcast. This is the #1 show for online fitness coaches who are trying to grow a successful online business. In today's episode, we're talking about 3 mistakes you're making in the DMs that are causing people not to buy. Now, before we get into today's episode, I want to give you guys a chance to win $1,000 cash. And so if you're tuning into this episode and you like winning money, we are giving away $1,000 cash on March 30th. And so if you want to win $1,000, all you need to do right now is screenshot that you're listening to this podcast, share it to your Instagram stories, and tag me at BMarkFit. Let me know that you're tuning in. I'm giving away $1,000 cash on March 30th. So if you want to be entered to win $1,000 cash, all you got to do is screenshot any podcast episode, share it to your story, and tag me at BMarkFit. Let's go. So guys, yesterday, yesterday was probably the busiest day I've had ever, like literally ever. I don't think I've ever had a busier day. I had 6 back-to-back, like hour to 2 hour long meetings. And it was super nostalgic and it felt really cool. And I'm going to tell you guys why I did these because I'm in a mentorship program. So as a mentor for others, I think that it's my responsibility to always be learning from other people that are smarter than me. And so my mentor, his name is Taki Moore. And this guy is like literally a genius. He's so smart, comes up with some brilliant ideas, is really connected to some high-level people. I've met some really cool people as a result of being in Taki's program. And so I joined Taki's program about 1 year and 9 months ago. Now, when I joined Taki Moore's program, I still had Aesthetic Nation. So I was running Aesthetic Nation and the fitness business was making around $30,000 a month still. I also had PT Domination. PT Domination was making about $30,000 a month. But I was kind of stuck at that like 50 to 60K mark. And it's because I was running at the time I didn't know this, but I was trying to run 2 businesses successfully. And I wasn't doing very good at either one of them. Because there's only so much that you can give, right? So I would try really hard to run Aesthetic Nation, which was very active and had a lot of clients. And then I was trying to run PT Domination and trying to grow the business, which was very active. And I was starting to attract more clients. And I remember when I hired Taki, I literally said to him, I'm like, bro, I'm 27 years old right now. I'm like, I want to get to $100,000 a month before I turn 28. And I hired him in May and I turned 28 in October. So I had about a few months. And he told me, he's like, bro, I literally guarantee you that we can make that happen. He's like, if you hire me as your mentor, he's like, I'll get you to $100,000 a month by the time you turn 28. And literally that was all I needed to hear. I'm like, cool, I'm fucking in. So I started out Taki Moore's program back in May 2019, literally a complete newbie. Like I didn't really know what I was doing. I was kind of like, I had an offer, like I was helping online coaches grow their business. And, I had already gotten my fitness business to $10,000 a month, actually to $50,000 a month. So I knew how to get people to 10K a month, because I'd done it myself and I'd done it with a lot of other people, but I didn't know how to scale my own business coaching business. I was kind of stuck at scaling my own. I was stuck. And so I hired him and I told him that I wanted to get to $100,000 a month. And he helped me take all of my knowledge around personal training and turn it into like a system where I could actually bring in consistent business coaching leads. And so I hit $100,000 a month in December 2019. So literally I told him that I wanted to hire him to hit 100K. I hit 100K in December 2019. And as of this year, in 2021, we had a $400,000 a month. And so I went from making 40K a month when I first hired Taki to making $400,000 a month. Now I'm telling you guys this because I went from being literally the newest person in the room at a Taki Moore event to yesterday. I presented in front of 275 people at Taki Moore's mastermind. And he asked me to be like a guest presenter. And so if you're in the 10K Coaching Academy, sometimes we do these things called hot seats where we interview some of our best students. It was kind of like that. Like Taki brought me on and he literally gave me the floor to present in front of 275 of his clients. And it was really cool because I went from being the newest person in the room to now I'm one of the biggest authorities in the room. And it was just a super, super nostalgic moment for me. It was really exciting. It was like, it was cool to watch it come full circle. So it was pretty cool yesterday. So yesterday, anyways, I was in 6 back-to-back meetings. I literally had that presentation, and then I had my Iron Energy team meeting, which is like my new gym, and then I had my PT domination meeting, which with all my coaches, and then I had my own podcast, and then I was training my virtual assistants for an hour, and then I had my mastermind call. And so, needless to say, I think I literally used like every single ounce of brain power that I had yesterday. And today, when I woke up, I would have rather punched myself directly in the face than go to the gym, but I like forced myself into action and I made myself get up. But then when I got home, I recognized, I was like, okay, like I do need to take like a solid hour-long nap. So I just napped. And like, that's entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is like a balance between like, pushing yourself to do the shit and then recognizing when you need to take a break. And it's important that we learn how to navigate. So these last 24 hours were super nostalgic for me. I got a really cool opportunity to be a mentor for somebody that helped me scale my business to the next level. And it was really cool to watch it come full circle. So let's bring it to today. And I want to give you guys the value in today's episode. And I want to talk about 3 mistakes that you're making in direct messages that are causing people not to buy your shit. All right. So this is for online fitness coaches that are trying to grow their business. And as an online coach, most of you guys, I would say 99% of you guys are at a place where you're booking calls in order to enroll clients into your program, right? So in order to book calls, you need to direct message people. It's like people don't just book calls randomly. It's like you like even if somebody, applies for your program through a Typeform, you still have to direct message them and you still have to book a call. So here are 3 mistakes that you're making in the DMs that are causing people not to buy your shit. All right. So number 1, the first mistake that you could be making in the DMs that's causing people not to buy your shit is selling your stuff too soon. Selling your shit too soon. Who here, out of curiosity, online coaches, who here has ever gotten to a place or ever gotten a cold DM from a stranger that was trying to sell them something? Who here has ever gotten a cold DM from a stranger that was trying to sell them something? Raise your hand. Just say me if you have. Me. For me, whenever I get a cold DM from a complete stranger that's like, would you like to purchase my blah, 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 blah product? Or like, are you interested in blah, 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 blah product? Like, as soon as I get a cold DM from a stranger, I'm like out. I'm like, peace. It's like, as soon as I tell they're trying to sell me something, I'm out. It's just so annoying. I hate it more than anything. So we all hate it. We all get it every day. So as online coaches, my question for you is, why do you do that to other people? Like, I'm going to be super direct here and I'm going to pull on some like Cole Da Silva energy, and Cole's like my savage business partner. And I'm going to say like, nobody gives a shit about your product. Like, nobody wants to buy it. Nobody cares. And so sliding into somebody else's direct messages on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever, and trying to sell them something is literally as effective as me jumping on, like going to my next door neighbor and knocking on his fucking door and being like, hey bro, would you like to buy my business coaching program? Like, that's how effective it is. It's like trying to slide into somebody's DM and sell them something is literally as effective as going to your next door neighbor and trying to sell them a fitness program. It just does not work. But so many online coaches do it. And I think the reason that a lot of online coaches do it is that they don't know what they don't know. Like, that's not a good way to sell your online coaching service. Is like sliding into people's DM and saying like, hey, would you like to buy my stuff? Even online coaches, like if you're in the direct messages with somebody and they're remotely like talking to you in a conversation, just because they reply to you doesn't mean that you should pitch them your program. But a lot of online coaches will do that. They'll send out a first message and somebody will reply and they're like, great, thanks so much for replying. Do you mind if I ask a couple questions about your fitness journey to see if I can help you lose weight? It's like, you're selling your shit way too soon, right? And so whenever I'm reaching out via DMs to a new follower or somebody in general, or somebody that's like engaging with my content, which, by the way, little ninja hack, that's my favorite way. That's why I put out so much content, is because I prefer to talk to people who engage with me, because I don't like lead genning complete strangers. It's annoying. Like, I don't like when it happens to me. And so I don't like doing it to other people. I would prefer to have conversations with people who are engaging with my content, which is why I put out so much free, valuable content every single day, because I want to be able to generate conversations off of people who get value from me versus trying to generate conversations from complete strangers. And all of you guys have that all the time. You have business coaches that are sliding into your DMs trying to sell you shit. It's annoying. And so for me, I would much rather put out so much valuable content and then have things for people to engage with. That makes it way easier to start conversations versus trying to slide into the DMs of a complete stranger. But anyways, whenever I'm reaching out via DMs to a new follower or somebody in general, my conversation to start is never anything that's like has anything to do with how I can help them. The conversation never, ever, ever is like, hey, like I can help you grow your business. It's just me saying hi. It's just like, hey, what's going on? I'm Brian. Thanks so much for engaging with my content or following me on social media. I appreciate you. And then you can take the conversation from there. And guys, sometimes when you start conversations like that, people will want to buy your stuff. Sometimes people won't want to buy your stuff, but stop trying to sell to every single person that you talk to. This is especially true for Facebook groups and for Clubhouse. So Clubhouse is a newer app where you're able to actually like engage with people and have conversations. And I think a big mistake that you can make on Clubhouse is getting on Clubhouse and then finding people's Instagram and following them and try to sell them shit. It's like big mistake. It's like give value first, build relationships first. And some people will be interested and some people won't. But stop trying to sell every single person that you talk to. That's why you're not booking any calls and that's why you're not making any sales. Okay, so that's mistake number one. Now is trying to sell everybody your stuff. So don't do that, okay? Mistake number two that you could be making if you are an online fitness coach that's trying to book calls. Mistake number two is you are more interested than they are. Mistake number two is you are more interested than they are. What does that mean? Here's a really simple audit that you guys can do on whether or not you're making this mistake, all right? Super, super simple audit. Super simple exercise. I dare you after this podcast to pull up your last direct messaging sequence with a potential client. Pull up the last DM sequence you had with a potential client. Now, here's what I want you to do. I don't want you to read the words exchanged with each other. I want you to read the subtext, the subcommunication. The way that you're going to do that is you're going to pull away your phone from your face and you're literally going to look at the conversation and look at the length of the message from you versus the client and scroll through the conversation. Literally, just scroll through the conversation and look at the length of the message that you send and the length of the message that the other person sends. And if the length of the message that you send is much larger, which I'm going to bet my life it is much larger than the length of the message that the ideal client sends, what that subcommunicates is that you are more interested in your prospect than they are interested in you. Does that make sense? It's subcommunication. Guys, it's the exact same thing as like, let's use a dating reference. The exact same thing as like a dating reference, right? Like if you meet somebody at like on Tinder or at a restaurant or at a bar or whatever, and the first message that you send them is like, hey, thanks so much for meeting me last night. It was really great meeting you. I loved your hair. It was super incredible. The music choice that you have is awesome. And I'm really glad that we had a drink together. Thank you. And they say, great meeting you too, smiley face. Like, who's more interested in who, right? Like, that's the game that you guys have to be playing in the DMs. And then, like, that is the direct messaging game. It's like in sales, it's like the person that talks the most loses. On the playground, the person who chases if you chase one person on the playground, the other person is going to run away. Like if I chase somebody, they're going to run away. And so in the DMs, the person who seems the most interested gets the other person less interested. Straight up. Meaning that you need to use this knowledge and position yourself as the prize. The attitude that I have when I'm in direct messages with potential clients is this. I have the goodies. Like I'm the authority here. I have a solution to the problem that you have. You are struggling with a problem. You have like an issue in your life, and I have the solution for you for sure. I know for a fact that I can help you. And even though I'm really, really, really busy, I might be able to help you solve the problem that you have. That's the attitude that I have. Versus a lot of online trainers, and let me know if you make this mistake, you really want to help people, right? And so because you want to help people, as soon as you sense somebody has a problem, you're like, oh man, I can help you so much. And, I can tell that you're really struggling with this problem here. And you're doing this wrong with your nutrition, and with your training plan, you're doing this wrong. And I can definitely help you transform your life. And, there's a lot of things you are doing wrong, and I can definitely help you. How many of you guys do that? Where you over deliver in the DMs because you want to help them, because you want to serve them, and because you want to explain what they're doing wrong, or why they're not getting results, or why they're struggling in their fitness journey, or why they're not motivated. And so you're helping them, and you're coaching them, and you're giving them value in the DMs. How many of you guys do that out of curiosity? I'm not mad at you. I want to make you better. So how many of you guys do that? You need to position yourself as the prize. I am the prize. I have the goodies. You want the prize. You want the goodies. Talk less. Here's the way you guys want to do this is I like to say more with less words. Say more with less words. That's it, right? And at first this will be hard. And so the easiest way for you guys to do this, online fitness coaches, is to densen your message. And so when I say densen your message, what I'll do is when I first practice, now I do this without even thinking about it. But when I'm training somebody new, or I'm helping somebody do this, here's what I like to teach is write out the full message that you want to send, that you want to say, and then take that exact same message and ask yourself the question, how can I say the same thing but with less words? And then take out the words that don't need to be in there and say the same thing but with less words. And this will be harder at first, but it's going to make the subtext more powerful, because if you're saying a lot more than they're saying, then that's sub-communicating that you're more interested in them, and that's sub-communicating that you need them, and that's going to tell them that they need to run away because you're chasing them. Does that make sense? It's a small it's a small detail that makes all the difference. It's the psychology of direct messaging, and it's everything. It's so important. So try to say the same thing with less words. Does that make sense? Are you guys with me? All right. Now let's get to the third mistake that you're making in the DMs that are causing people not to book calls with you and not to buy your shit. Third mistake is you're talking at them versus talking to them. You're talking at them versus talking to them. Okay, so if you're not paying attention to what your prospects are saying, they're out of here. They're leaving. If it seems like you're following a script and you're not being a human, they're out of here. They're leaving. Here's a really easy way to show your prospects that you're paying attention to them when they're talking to you. Okay, here's a super simple way. I call it validate, relate, and lean in. And I'm going to explain what that means in a second. So let's say that you ask a question, right? So you're in the DMs and you're talking to a client, right? And you ask a question and you're like, what's your number one fitness goal? And the client or the potential client says to you, I just want to lose weight and I want to tone for the summer. What most people do is most people are like, cool. What's your number one struggle? Not paying any attention to what the prospect just said. So a really simple, I'm going to give you the simplest possible way to implement the strategy that I'm talking to you guys about. And the easiest way to talk to them and not at them is just repeat back what they said. That's it. Repeat back what they said. And so if somebody says, I want to lose weight and tone for the summer, you're like, great. So losing weight, tone for the summer, that's awesome. Period. Next question. Repeating back what they said is the easiest possible way to implement what I'm saying. I'm going to teach you guys the easiest and the best way. So the easiest way is literally repeating back what they said. So if somebody says, I want to tighten my waist up and build my booty. Literally all you'd have to say is tighten your waist, build your booty. That's awesome. And what's your biggest struggle when it comes to tightening your waist? Repeating back what they said is the easiest possible way to implement what I'm telling you guys. Now that's the easiest. I'm going to tell you the best way. The best way to show them that you're actually listening is to validate, relate, and lean in. So what does that mean? Validating them is like showing them, it's like giving them a cookie. Validating them is like giving them approval. Validating them is like showing them that you're paying attention and showing them that you understand what they're saying. So validating them is something like, I totally get that. That completely makes sense. I love that. That's an amazing goal to have. That's so cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. I get it. That's amazing. I love it. Validating them is something like that. So it would be like, I love it. And then relating with them is something like building a big booty is totally doable. Relating them was like, a lot of my best clients have the same goal. Relating with them is like something like, that's completely achievable. Relating them with them is like, my client Sarah had the exact same goal as you. So validate, relate, and then lean in. Leaning in is asking the next question. So let's say somebody's like, I want to lose weight and tone for the summer. What your response should look like is, I love that. It's a super good goal to have. What would you say has been your biggest struggle so far? I love that. That's a super good goal to have. That's a super simple way to use validate, relate, and lean in. Versus, okay, what's your next struggle? Like, what's your biggest struggle? A lot of people just move on to the next question when they're in direct messages, and that's why your conversations look super robotic. I am robot and I sell you fitness program. Would you like to help me? What would you like me to help you? It's like, guys, validating, relating, and leaning in, meaning that you're paying attention to what they're saying. You need to talk to them and not at them. It's the same thing on phone calls. And we're not getting into like psychology of like being on a phone and selling your product, but on the phone, a lot of online trainers make that same mistake where they're talking at their prospects with a phone script versus talking to their prospects and showing their prospects that they're paying attention by repeating back what they're saying. So some good examples of validate statements are like, so a good way to validate is like, that totally makes sense. Yeah, I get that. I love that. So you're validating them, right? Validating them is like showing them that you're paying attention. You're approving of what they're saying, giving them a cookie, and then moving on to the next question. All right. So in summary, online fitness coaches, in summary, the 3 mistakes that you guys are making in the DMs that are causing people not to buy or book a call for your product or your service is number 1, selling your stuff too soon. We all dislike when somebody slides into our DMs with a pitch. Everybody dislikes it. For me, I literally, if it's like aggressive, I'll block them. Like if it's like somebody slides into my DMs with an aggressive pitch, I'll just block them. If it's rude, and sometimes somebody slides in with a rude pitch too. Like if somebody will like, I see 3 things wrong with your profile, and then I'll be rude back. But nobody likes it, right? So don't do it. So don't sell your stuff too soon. Build a relationship with people in the DMs. It's going to lead to better results. Number 2 is if you are more interested than they are. And so a super simple audit of your conversations, and you guys can literally do this right now, is pull up your last 2 or 3 direct message conversations with potential clients and just zoom out. Don't read the words, but scroll through the conversation. Look at the length of response from person to person. Are you saying more than they are? If you are saying more than they are, that's why you're not booking calls, because you're sub-communicating that you need them. You're sub-communicating that you're more interested than they are. And in sales, the person that talks the most loses. You're also chasing them. And when you chase somebody, they run away. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is you're talking at them and not to them. So maybe you're running from question to question in your script and you're not actually like paying attention to what they're saying. And a super simple way to do that is just repeat back what they said. But the best way to do that is to validate, relate, and lean in. Did this make sense? Hopefully you guys got value from this podcast and you utilize these strategies. And you guys could be making any one of these 3 mistakes. If you are making any one of the 3 mistakes, I recommend that you change it. But I recommend that you pay attention to every one of them, because if you do all 3 of these things and you fix all 3 of these mistakes, you're going to see way better results. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Change Lives Make Money Online Journey podcast, the number 1 show for online fitness coaches who are trying to grow a successful online business. If you got value from today's episode, go ahead and screenshot the podcast episode, share it to your Instagram stories, tag me at BMarkFit. Let me know that you're tuning in, and I will enter you to win $1,000 cash on March 30th. Peace, love, protein. Have the best day of your entire life, and we'll talk to you soon. Let's go.